It's Sunday and you're on the go.
At 11 o'clock, it's time to slow.
'Cause everybody that you know is watching the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff.
No, the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff.
No, the Jeff and Katie Show.
Maybe it's commutable.
It's simply irrefutable.
No matter what, we know that you'll be watching.
The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff
No,
Show.
the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show. Commutable.
Refutable.
Disputable.
Delusional.
No matter what, we know that you'll be watching. The Jeff and Katie Show. Math.
Katie Dahl.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome
good.
to Raise the Curtain.
Welcome to Raise the Curtain. The curtain has been raised, as you
Yes.
see. Yes.
Now, Katie Dahl, I can't help but reflect on this being a one-year anniversary of ours of a sort, right?
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is thinking back to the very first time that we appeared together to do this event a year ago. We were in this theater, and the first segment that we did of this, do you remember where it was?
In the seats.
It was sitting in the seats. Do you know how green we were in this entire thing? I mean, if you look back at that thing, it's like they did not know beans.
We did not know what we were
We
doing.
did not know beans.
Yeah.
But here we are, and we're lit, and we have sound system, and we have Day Valley technical director, and Molly Rohde's over there stage managing today. And I mean, the whole thing is like professional.
We are real professional.
We are real professionals. Yeah.
As professional as Facebook Live baking variety show people get. That's how professional we are.
That's how
Yeah.
professional we are. Well, we have a really great day lined up today. This is the first of many segments that we're going to be doing. Northern Sky today, we're having our Raise the Curtain event. And for those who have ever joined us in the past and for those who haven't, Raise the Curtain is usually our kickoff event of the season. And last year, of course, we had a smashing season planned, and then COVID hit. So we quickly pivoted, that magic word, and we went virtual. And we decided that this year, not knowing exactly where things would be when we had to plan this event and our entire season for that matter, we also took into mind that COVID restrictions might still be in place, and we thought, let's just do another virtual Raise the Curtain, but with an added twist, which is that we are tonight at 7 o'clock, and we're going to keep stressing this all day long, going to be doing our wonderful premiere event, which is not even remotely. It is a brand spanking new world premiere musical written by Northern Sky team, for Northern Sky, performed by Northern Sky company members, and you will be the very first audience to watch it tonight at 7 o'clock.
Woo!
And I think that is awfully exciting and incredible, frankly.
Yes.
So we'll talk a lot more about that because this particular segment coming up shortly will be the authors, creators of that show. So you have that to look forward to. But first, should we give them a little bit of a rundown about what to expect today, Katie?
Oh, we should. So the Katie and Jeff Show will come to you on every hour on the hour.
That's right.
Until through 5 o'clock. So this is the 11 o'clock segment, and we're going to spotlight a different show every time, except one time when we spotlight baking and one time when we spotlight the marketplace. Other than that, it's going to be each segment will be one of our new 5 shows, or one of our 5 shows that we're doing in this 2021 season.
Yeah.
Which are very exciting and all in person. We have this virtual show that's running this week and starting our season in this wonderful way, and then we have an in-person season starting on June 14th. So
yeah, and what's been really interesting, and we'll talk a little bit more about this too with our special guests, but not even remotely, which will play remotely, is being performed remotely, but it's also going to appear on this very stage this summer.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing for us to talk about too.
Totally. So today that's what you have to look forward to, and what we know that you're doing right now is thoroughly looking at the beautiful Raise the Curtain Marketplace, and Ann will put the link to that up on the screen now. But basically, that is a super cool. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend that you do. There are a lot of auction items on there. Some baskets that are sort of based or packages that are based around each show. There is a like tour by Water and Air of Door County, amazing package. There's
Right.
like very cool things on
Yeah.
this. There's Packer bundle with preseason tickets. So I recommend checking it out. That's happening all day long, and that closes at 9:30, which is when we'll have our sort of finale.
Yeah.
And today is a fundraising event. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the critical thing to know about that is, obviously, with the past year of our having been completely shuttered for doing live performances, we've had to rely a lot on your generosity, and that's still the case because we will have limited seating capacity still for this summer until further restrictions are lifted. It means that we won't be able to generate the revenue that we normally would be able to. So for all of those reasons, your continued donations to Northern Sky are critical and helpful. And what you should know about today is Holly Feldman, Development Director Extraordinaire, shall we say? Extraordinaire. Holly Feldman has let us know that we're going to have a goal today of $60,000. And where are we currently, Katie Dahl?
35,000.
Oh, wow. We're already halfway there?
We're more than halfway there. The math begins. Woo!
Yeah. And what we also know is that very generously, Werner and Sue Krause have already said that they would do a matching gift for today of $10,000. So if we can raise another $10,000 off the bat here, that means that Werner and Sue will kick in $10,000 to match that. That would get us an additional $20,000.
That would put us at 55,000.
Very good, Katie
Thank
Dahl.
you.
The math is adding up. That would
Yes.
that would get us really close to that 60,000 mark. So, and all of the ways that you can contribute today include just making a donation straight out. They include buying a ticket for tonight's world premiere event. It includes going to the marketplace and buying all of those wonderful experiences and gifts. So you have lots of ways that you can contribute today to help us to get to that $60,000 mark.
And I bet Anne is putting all those things in the comments. I realize I did not put the comments on, so I am blissfully unaware of what you may be saying, but I'm sure that you're commenting on how nice we look on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
Mainly
Mainly that.
Yes. So, okay.
Without further ado,
ado.
Let's introduce our special guests, and we're going to put our headphones on because otherwise we can't hear them.
Yes.
And today we have the creators of Not Even Remotely, Richard Carsey and Steve Kovacs, joining us, along with Corrie Beula Kovacs, who helped these guys get this story on the mark. Ready, set, go. Right? Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Say,
Good morning.
so Steve and Corrie, where are you guys broadcasting from?
We are in Neenah in the Fox Cities in Wisconsin.
Toilet paper capital of the world. Yes. Yay! And Richard, where are you?
I'm in Wolcott, Connecticut, from my home right outside of Hartford.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you guys for joining us. So we can't tell you how extremely excited we are for Not Even Remotely to make its world premiere tonight at Northern Sky Theater. It's really kind of remarkable. I'm sure you feel the same way, having created it in such a short period of time. You want to talk a little bit about what that process was and how this show even came to be?
Sure, yeah. So it started back in the spring of last year when Corrie and I were doing some live streams on Facebook, just little cabarets for our theater family here. And we got this idea about, well, what if you did a musical where you're trying to do something online and everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong? And that idea was the spark. And so I contacted Richard and I said, hey, I got this idea. What do you think? And it's that weird thing where we both had a little more time on our hands than we usually do. And
why is that, Steve?
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially for Richard, who is so in demand, and it's people want to work with him, so it's hard to find time with them. So this was like, yes, I could write something with him, and then he came up with the idea of bringing in a narrative so that the characters are trying to tell a narrative story instead of doing a cabaret.
Right.
And
we should also share that Richard was instrumental in the development of our show We Like It Where, which premiered in the summer of 2019. So
right. That's how you guys got to know one another.
That's how we got to know each other.
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. The Northern Sky connection. Yeah. So Richard, what was your idea for this framing device?
Well, we were playing around with all different kinds of things, and what I was attracted to was the idea that these two people, these two characters that we meet in the course of the show, are trying to do something that is impossible, which is kind of how we all feel, especially at the beginning of this whole pandemic. And when I was hearing you guys talk about, setting up your first broadcast, and there you were in the seats, you didn't know what you were doing, and we were trying to make this all up. And I was like, well, okay, what if they're trying to make it all up? And the thing that they're trying to do is just impossible under the best of circumstances. So I was like, well, what could be the craziest thing that they could be trying to present? And the first impulse I had was, well, what if they're trying to write Jaws, the musical?
Oh,
Like
that's
just
funny.
something completely impossible. And then Steve and Corrie wisely pointed out, well, you'd have to get the rights to that.
Oh, this is
Right.
So I was like, well,
yeah.
Okay, well, what would they, and that sparked, well, what else would be impossible? What if they're doing Frankenstein the musical? And the idea of having to get the rights started the dominoes falling of, well, what is this theater? What is this theater that these two guys are members of and are representing with this show? And it was like, okay, well, it's some kind of a community theater, some kind of a theater large enough to have big aspirations, but small enough to not be like on their way to writing a Broadway show. Which is 90% of the theaters in the world.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it started coming together from there. What the relationship was between these two characters, and so the idea is, they're trying to present. They were writing Frankenstein the musical when this big tragedy happened, that they cannot continue to be in their theater. We presume that it's COVID, but it could be anything. And now they're trying to present it for you online, this 40-person musical, but with just the two of them.
Right.
And that's the premise.
Yeah.
So so the idea, right, is that you as an audience, you could watch this online or you could watch it in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did that part of your planning sort of come to fruition, or it hasn't come to fruition yet? When did that germ sort of start?
Hours from now.
I think it was early on in the writing and the development stage, because we just didn't know what a year from then would look like. Where were we going to be? What was going to be safe
And possible.
Possible.
Yeah.
And so the idea was, let's write it so that the audience could be sitting at home and watching virtually. Or if they're watching live in the theater, they become a fly on the wall in the room, in this living room where Chris and Alex are trying to perform the show.
Right. Yeah, because I hinted at the fact that tonight it's going to be performed remotely, which means not at Northern Sky, but instead from Chase and Molly's condo in Milwaukee, where Alex has been living, and that Alex, Doug, and Nadja have been rehearsing. And then also being joined by you guys remotely from your locations to help them out. And that's how this entire process has gone for developing this musical, right? Have you guys been in the same room together writing this thing at all?
Never.
Right,
Wow.
right. I mean, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I actually, when you asked that question, that was the first time that it occurred to me.
Yeah.
That's right. We haven't ever been in the same place.
Yeah.
Last time I was in the room with Steve and Corrie was when we were working on We Like It Where, and that was 3 years ago. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's just unimaginable. But really, that's kind of what that's everyone's experience.
Right.
Yeah. I actually, we're all having this thing now. I had, brunch with some friends this morning. I belong to this book club here in Connecticut, and all of our meetings have all been online for the last year. And we all, like 5 of us, got together this morning and ate brunch together. And it was just like so strange.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're capturing a little bit in this piece as well.
Yeah. So I think it could be helpful for us now, maybe to just set up the song. And Steve and Corey are going to actually perform a song from the show. As already been mentioned, it's a 2-actor piece, but it's many characters. Steve and Corey, you want to talk about the particular characters that you're going to be portraying in this song?
Sure. So we have our characters, Alex and Chris. I'll be playing Alex, and Corey will be playing Chris, and they are playing characters within the Frankenstein musical. So as Alex, I will also be Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and Corey will also be Igor, his assistant. And so this song is...
It takes place at basically the time that the two characters initially meet, and they're getting to know each other.
They've just discovered Victor's uncle's laboratory, and Victor has just discovered that Igor has some scientific knowledge. So he is encouraging Igor to stay and be his lab assistant. And that's what brings us to this little ukulele number called Meeting of the Minds.
Excellent.
Great.
Take it away, you guys.
In all my years of student life, the teachers were my guides. I followed, watched, learned eagerly at my place by their sides. A secret hope within my heart I kept from observation, that my achievements would in time bring awe and adulation. Come join me in my castle of ideals. Wash my clothes and cook me all my meals. While I perform experiments, you'll clean up horses' excrements. You'll rise far above your lowly station.
I thank you, good sir. You're generous, I'm sure. I must admit, 'twould be nice to sleep indoors. Instead of neglect, you'll give me respect. I'll be so proud to wash your muddy floors.
You'll stay
Today.
I'll pay.
Okay, in advance.
Take a chance.
Freelance. Let's dance.
Come join me in my castle built for fun.
I'll join you in this scary place.
Our scientific work has just begun.
I'll keep the carrots just in case.
A meeting of the minds has fused our two lives into one. Now for Victor and Igor, work has just begun.
Oh, that's really fun. Well, one of the things that strikes me, I've had the pleasure of watching remotely some of the rehearsals, including this past week, a couple of the tech rehearsals and a little dress rehearsal on Friday. And the music in the show is really fun. It's got a lot of different styles as well, which is delightful. You sort of capture the Gothic, in some cases, and you also capture the sort of modern day musical theater, and this little ukulele number is, its own little beast. And the other thing that you guys did, talk a little bit about how this thing was teched out. Because in normal theater, you're talking about a set, you're talking about props, you're talking about costumes, and you're talking about designers for all of those things. You're talking about a music director, you're talking about orchestrations, all of that stuff is, what usually happens when a brand new musical is written. How did our creative team manage all of that?
Well, we had Steve, so I'll let Steve talk about this because he's been really. He has been, first of all, he's a fantastic collaborator, but he has also been a real genius in terms of of especially conceptualizing like just how technically this could actually take place.
Sure.
I had no experience with that, but they've had all kinds of experience in running their business, their theater business online during this. So there was a wealth, but the design aspect really wanted to come from the actors themselves. The whole idea is that these two characters are just punting. So they're using whatever they have in the house to create the set and the atmosphere. The idea is that they've done this kind of by the seat of their pants. But the technical aspect of it was much more thought out. And Steve is the genius behind that. So I'll let him talk to that.
Well, I just want to point out there are lovely piano accompaniments in the show as well that were performed and recorded by Richard, and they came out absolutely spectacular. He's an unbelievable musician, so it's just great to hear those tracks throughout the show. Also did a great job music directing for Doug and Alex, really taking the lead on making sure they understood all the details of each piece. And
We should say that's Doug Clemens and Alex Campia. Those are the
yes,
Right.
that's
cast
correct.
of two. Yep.
Yes.
Those are the actors. Yeah.
Yep.
And then just to echo what Richard was saying, so much of the fun and the creativity and the silliness in this show is dependent on the choices that the director and the actors make. And in this case, that 3-person team is really doing everything. They are coming up with all of these fun set pieces and costume pieces and ways to stage this in one room so that it can be this lavish musical that's been pared down to something that has to be done online. So their creativity is just unbelievable.
All of that being said, we went down to Milwaukee to the apartment yesterday to fine tune a couple of things, and I have to say, I looked around and I said, "This is our entire studio in this living room."
Right. Right.
all of our technical equipment.
Right.
We're surprised we can come to you today from
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not at the condo.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about this collaboration is when Molly and I were talking about, how do we see this happening? How can we make this happen remotely? How do we best empower this creative team to make sure that this piece has the possibility of feeling like it's being created by them? And we're like, well, let's just let them do it.
How can we make it seem that way?
How can we make a team that way? Let's just give them the power, and let's just, and man, have they taken the ball and run, right?
And we should say Nadja Simmons is the director of this piece. This is her directorial debut. It's very exciting.
Yeah,
And so it's that team of 3, Alex and Doug and Nadja, that are in the actual space when it's happening. Yeah.
And we encouraged all of them we encouraged all of them and you to take a leap with this piece, and that's exactly what you did, as a group of collaborators, and it's been exciting to watch, and it's going to be, for that reason, I think the way that it's developed gives everybody who's been involved with it authorship in a way that's incredibly important for this kind of a piece. So I think it's just gonna live with it, and I'm going to say this, that anybody who's watching who thinks, oh, they're going to do it virtually and then they're going to do it at the Gould. I'm going to be in Door County so I can see it live. I'm telling you, you want to see it in this incarnation too. You really do. I encourage everybody to see it both ways, because I think you're going to find it astounding at how they managed to do this thing. And don't be worried about, I'm already spending too much time on the computer or screen or whatever. It's not very long. It's about maybe an hour and 10 minutes. So it's, it's really, it's just delightful in its length, and it's delightful in every aspect of how it has been created, and the performances are not to be missed. And I think they are not to be missed in this particular incarnation either. So,
well, and I would like to say that this show runs all week. Like, it opens tonight and it runs through Thursday. But tonight there is a special party. There is a Zoom party after the show,
right?
With you all, right, and with the actors and with Nadja and with us. So it's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
So, So tonight it's at 7. There's Anne put the information up about that.
Yeah, and we encourage you again for Raise the Curtain to go ahead and purchase a ticket for this evening. Be a part of the world premiere audience because it's a special event. Be a part of the after party. Help Northern Sky to celebrate the kickoff to the 2021 season. I mean, how unbelievable is it that we are finally able to be back together? Katie and I have been doing the Jeff and Katie show now for one entire year. And during the summer, we were doing it weekly. And this is the first time we have been able to do it without plexiglass between us. So it is a huge, like milestone event in every way. So we are so grateful to you guys for being our world premiere kickoff musical at Northern Sky for this 2021 very special season. So thank you incredibly for being that team.
Well,
Yay.
we're so grateful for the opportunity and the idea that we get to do this online and then get to go to this gorgeous, amazing new space of which you must be so proud and so anxious to at last have people walk into it.
Yeah.
I know we feel so honored and so grateful, and it does feel like a huge celebration.
Well, yeah, it is indeed.
Totally.
Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate your taking the time this morning to join us and being our first guests on Raise the Curtain, Take a Leap. And who could be more appropriate for that than the team that wrote the song? Which I'm not even going to tell you that it's a song from the show, except I just did.
That's right.
Exactly.
He's not going to tell you, everyone. You're just going to have to guess that for yourselves.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Stephen, Corrie, and Richard. And we're going to be back at noon, everyone, with Jimmy Kaplan to talk about Tongue in Cheek.
Yeah.
And every hour on the hour to talk about a different show through 5 p.m. So I think we'll let Corrie and Stephen Richard go, and we'll sing our little outro.
Okay. Bye,
Bye,
you guys.
you guys. Thank you.
The Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show.
Oh, the Jeff and Katie Show.
The Katie and Jeff Show. Commutable.
Refutable.
Disputable.
Delusional. No matter what, we know that you'll be watching. The Jeff and Katie Show.
Math. Yay. See you later. See you at noon. Ba-da-dum.
Bye, you guys.